Okay, welcome back. This segment is going to deal with using the search function of use, which a lot of people forget about, and I wind up having to show them once again on how to effectively use this. We will not search up here. We will search down here when you go in. You have a lot of different options to do searching by. I'm actually going to want to start at the bottom for just a moment. Said already exported means did what you're looking for, has it already left use or could it still be in use? If you say left use, then you'll only see in your search the items that have been exported. If you say no, you'll only see the items that are still in use that have not been exported for final payment. I always just leave it at all, because it's everything you've done going to a period in time. More often than not, the simple thing is you probably want to search for your items, and so you would use this last one, vendor customer name, and start typing your last name. I'm gonna do. Let's see if I got a Smith in there just for grins. We'll pick on Ilya for a moment. If Ilya was looking for her items, she would get her name in there. Back down here in the lower right hand corner, you have search. She would click, and then she could see all her documents. Payable invoice, which will make more sense a little bit later. Here is the document name, and I'll show you how that's generated. You've got the document date. This is their. Everybody has to have a vendor number. It's your number out of JDE. We borrow it into YOOZ to identify you. Obviously your name, the amount, obviously the status here. These have all been completed. She has nothing in the works whatsoever. The capture date is the day that she started putting this expense report together. Does not necessarily mean the day she submitted it or the day she completed it. Which company, that will make reference to that a little more. We work with 3 major companies now, even though we have more. Export date means what day did it actually leave YOOZ to go to JDE. And again, use import. And you can actually, even over here on notes, see what, if anybody said anything. Going back to our search, and again, I'm not using the web-based directional icons or tools. We're going back into here. And unfortunately, whatever YOOZ does, it takes us back, so I've got to click the search button again. There are a lot of different things that you can search by. The capture date, if you know it, the document number, which is kind of like the invoice number, the date, the date it was exported. We even have property. So if you're an approver and you want to see, okay, I want to look by a certain hotel, whose expense to it, you can do that. And if you don't see a parameter that you want to look for here, you can, up in here, I'm under run a search. We can also come to criteria selection. You can add, if you want, a certain. You can add an AP account if you need to. I have expense accounts so that the treasurer at times wants to see who is allocating to a corporate code. And I'll pick the date that the batch was exported and that code, and it will show me all the expense reports that have that code in it. So you can go in and customize your selections under run a search if you want to. You may be wondering what these are here. These are saved searches that I have. Once you complete a series of parameters under a search, and you don't want to have to type it in all, you can actually save that search. And all you would need to do is, if I was Ilya and I had this here, it would be easy for me just to save this out here on the side, and I just click it and it runs it. I don't have to go look my name up. I don't have to get it set. It's ready to go. she would just do save as. She would type it my reports and then hit confirm, and it would be saved out here on the side. I have a bunch of them over here. I have today's final approval. These are the ones that are today waiting for the final approval. That's either with Monica or whomever. I can click on that, and it'll show me the whole list. This month here, I've got those that we've approved. I've saved the search. I'll actually show it to you. This is the 13th of May, 2019, and this tells me that we have already done 393 expense reports for this much money, and it shows me every expense report that we have approved and reported out of YOOZ into JDE. Again, this is just a saved search. And I've got it under this month, I've got last month, I got last year. Step one is everybody who's an approver, the first approver that's got it in their queue. So if I wanted to know, okay, how many expense reports are getting ready to come out of the approvers to me on the third, and some go to a second approver, some don't, I can look and see I've got 100. There's 100 expense reports ready to go. Corey's expense report is here. It's with Tom. So that tells me it belongs to Corey, but it's in Tom's queue. Wade Fisher's is sitting in Robert Berg's queue. John Vogel's is sitting in Chad Martin's queue. And I can go down and just see where they are. You can also, if you're wanting to see how many you might have, you can click on this right here, and we can put it in alphabetical order. I can put the owner, the initial owner of the report, or I can say, okay, who all's holding it up? I can see in this instance, Aaron Walker has quite a few, so does Brad, and it just kind of gives me some information, lets me know. But again, these are saved searches, okay, and you can have them the same way you want. Step one is first approver. Step two is those people that go to whose expense reports have to go to corporate accounting because they're hitting corporate GL codes. Step three is myself. How many do I have? Step four is for final approval. And so you can save those. You can edit them by hitting the pencil if you want to make a change. You can just click into it, and it will give you, see this, you can see that this one is payable invoice, and that's the only one I've got. So if you want to delete it, you can delete it. If you want to, if you're through editing it, you can just click it back, and pretty much that. So if you never need to do a search, you want to look for your stuff. If it says you've got a problem with one of yours, you want to go back and look. Use the search function. It'll cut down on a lot of questions. You can initially go back and see which ones have been approved or haven't been approved, or, oh, did I do this expense report? You can go back and take a look. That concludes this little training session on search. The next one we will be doing, it will be talking about the expense report cover sheet coming up, which is the first step to importing and getting things set up to be reimbursed. Thank you.